Hari Om. We shall chant from verse number 45. Trigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasthaha Niryogakshema Atmavan Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvatas Samplutodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatah Karmannevadhikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana Ma Karma Phalaheturbhuhu Ma Te Sangostva Karmani Yogastha Kuru Karmani Sangam Tektva Dhananjaya Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Bhagwan gave these two buddhis, they are called Sankhya Buddhi and Yoga Buddhi. In Sankhya Buddhi, he revealed the nature of the self. In the beginning portion of this chapter, Bhagwan revealed the nature of the self. It is free from all change, all pervading, Satchidananda Swarup, unborn, indestructible, and that self is not a doer. It is not a doer, it is not an enjoyer. So that self one has to recognize with the help of a Shuddha Buddhi, pure intellect, and Sukshma Buddhi, a subtle intellect. We have to recognize our own self and gain firm abidance in that self, firm conviction that that is what I am. But to make this possible, our buddhi should become pure and sukshma. In order to make the buddhi sukshma and pure, we have to follow the path of karma. And this path of karma is also, it is called yoga buddhi, in which buddhi is required. Buddhi means understanding is there. First of all, we have to fulfill our duties as per the guidance of the scriptures and the society, as per our varna ashrama. Whatever our duties are there, those duties we should fulfill, perform. Dharma, swadharma anushthan it is called. So there are these four types of karmas which we had seen last time also. That nitya, naimittika, kamya and nishiddha. Four main, that way that prayashchit karma is also there, but these four are there. Nitya naimittik is daily and occasional duties. Kamya is desire prompted actions. Actions performed which are given in the scriptures as well as worldly, prompted by desires. And nishiddha karma are the papa karma. So the first step in spirituality is to drop all papa karma and perform nitya naimittik and kamya karma. Then we have to drop the kamya karma also, desire prompted, and only do the nitya naimittik. Then we enter the domain of karma yoga. And in that we have to offer this whatever karma we are doing to Ishvara. Dedicate those karmas to Ishvara. So Ishvara arpana buddhi, samarpana buddhi, as work as worship of Ishvara. And while performing that, fulfilling those duties, one should remain equanimous with respect to the action as well as the result of action. That's called samatva buddhi, samatva bhavana. And this is the crux of karma yoga, samatva, that remaining equanimous, perform all your duties as worship of Ishvara. And whatever result we get, take it as prasad. So Ishvara arpana buddhi, samatva buddhi, prasad buddhi, and our fulfilling our kartavya karma. So kartavya buddhi should be there. So that is what Bhagavan tells us, ki karmanyeva adhikaraste, our right, or Arjuna's now at present, his qualification was only to follow the path of karma. So without having any trishna, having any attachment to the result, Bhagavan says you just fulfill your karma, fulfill your duties. Don't become lazy. And remaining in this yoga of samatva, yogasthak kuru karmanim sangam tektva dhananjaya, giving up all attachment, remaining in this yoga of equanimity, accepting and understanding that whatever good and bad result comes is prasad of Bhagavan. So before the result comes itself, one should have that acceptance. Not that after result comes, but before it comes itself, one should have this acceptance. Samatva. So siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So this buddhi, to have that understanding, to have that deep conviction that everything is same for me, I have to just perform my duties. Everything is as Bhagavan has given prasad. So this samatva buddhi will help us to become free of the karma bandhan. See, it is like a magnet which has got both positive, what you call north pole and south pole. And it keeps on getting attached to all the iron things which are there around it. But when you remove that magnetism from that magnet, sometimes by heating or whatever process, when the magnetism goes away, then that magnet, the iron piece, becomes samatva. It doesn't matter the north pole and south pole. Everything is same to it. It doesn't get attached to one particular direction. Everything is same. So similarly, when we have this raga dvesha, something I like, something I don't like, then it creates bondage, it creates attachment to these actions. So the whole idea is to gain that moksha. So we have to start by becoming free from the attachment to the results of action. Once that happens, then that mind will be available to recognize the self. So that is what Bhagavan says, ki siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. He compared this karma yoga attitude, this buddhi, yoga buddhi, with other ordinary karmas which are performed with desires. So he, in the next words, compares. He says, दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाफलहेतवः दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ. दूरेण hi avaram karma. Bhagavan says all those karmas which are done with attachment and what you call it, the thirst for the result, compared to those karmas, I mean those karmas are very very low compared to karma yoga, compared to fulfilling our duties with the attitude of karma yoga. See, one is when we perform action, one result is what we get in this world. So whatever karmas we perform, whether we are doing fulfilling our duties or doing what you call good, bad karmas, or desire prompted, one is that we get the result in this world. Another is that it creates an impression and gives us a result in future. It gives result as future birth. So all those karmas which we perform in this lifetime, which has got the potential to give us future birth, those type of karmas should be avoided, should be dropped. And those type of karmas are called sakam karmas, desire prompted karmas. Not exactly the desire prompted karmas we do in this world, those also should be dropped. But even that desire that, okay, after this I will be born again, then I will have some more fruits of action I can enjoy in the next life. So those actions which have the potential of giving me another birth, those type of karmas should be avoided. One is karmas themselves should be avoided. Another is that attitude towards karma should be avoided. So one should perform karma in such a way that one fulfills the karma in the present moment itself. Okay, to give a simple worldly example, you are called to some party and all. You go and have nice food is prepared. So you just eat the food and come back home, saying thank you, bye-bye and all those things. That is one thing. So that is over. That party is over, everything is over. But there are people who will go there. They will like certain dish. Then immediately they say, कैसा बनाया है जरा recipe दे दो. This party you are having, no, next time when are you keeping another party? उसके घर में भी रख दो, इनके पास, मेरे पास आ जाओ, उनके पास जाओ. So we are preparing a ground for future actions. We are preparing a ground for future results of action also. That is a bad attitude. So similar attitude we have towards all karmas, we are preparing a ground for the future birth. So Bhagavan says you should not have this attitude. You just work in the present moment. Whatever my duties are there in the present, just do it. Full stop. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Of course, whatever we have to plan for tomorrow, today, that also you do it. But one should not create an attitude within us to project ourselves in future. So that is what is called not to have kamna for the phala, not to have trishna for the phala, the result of action. Enjoy and finish the action in the present moment itself. So Bhagavan says, compared to having this kamna for the results, having this attachment for the result, the karma done with a karma yoga attitude is much, much greater. And these other karmas are very inferior. दूरेण ही अवरम karma. दूर से ही बहुत निचले level का है. Because those karmas gives rise to more and more kamnas, more and more vasanas and more births. बुद्धि योगाद धनंजय. So बुद्धि योग से किया हुआ कर्म जो है, that is the best. And what type of buddhi? This samatva buddhi. Samatva buddhi is the crux of karma yoga. Understand? It's a understand. Buddhi means an understanding. Understanding what? That the whatever the result is same. Having a equanimous attitude towards the result, which will come in future and which has come now. सुख दुखे समय कृत्वा लाभा लाभो जया जयो ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापम वाप्स्यसि. That samatva bhav. So that is called that buddhi. Therefore Bhagavan says, buddhav sharanam anvichya. You surrender to this buddhi. So there are these two levels of this buddhi. One is that yoga buddhi, and then second is what? Sankhya buddhi. Yoga buddhi is this samatva buddhi, which is karma yoga, and Sankhya buddhi is to have that understanding that I am that pure self. I am that self which is free from the sense of, there is no doership. The self is not a doer. That self is unborn. So firm understanding, but that will come later on. So the first step is to have this samatva buddhi and fulfill our duties. So kartavya karma, samatva buddhi, Ishvara arpana buddhi, and this prasada buddhi, all this put together is karma yoga. Many people have funny ideas about karma yoga. Many people think that doing lot of karma is karma yoga. We hear this often. People say, बड़ा कर्म योगी है, दिन रात काम करता है. दिन रात काम करते need not be karma yogi. The work itself is not called karma yoga. दिन रात तो बहुत लोग काम करते हैं. They are not called karma yoga. Some people think that doing a special type of work is called karma yoga. He does some social service, he is working in the NGO, he is working in a spiritual organization, he is working in some days. So that itself is also not karma yoga. That is also not karma yoga. Karma yoga is to fulfill your duties. कई लोग घर का काम धंधा छोड़कर they do social service. घर वाले परेशान. बच्चों का वहाँ पर कुछ नहीं देखभाल नहीं हो रही है, घर का देखभाल नहीं हो रही है, but is doing great social service somewhere. That is not what karma yoga is. That is not what duty is. Duty should be balanced, holistic. Everything should be taken care of properly. For example, our own body, if I take care of my whole body properly, then I have fulfilled my duty towards my body. But suppose I only take care of my face, first class makeup karo, ye karo, baal ठीक करो, only focus on face only. Only the face is booked for my attention. Like so, that is not proper. Similarly, only to do work, my duty, fulfill my duty toward the society, that is not karma yoga. Only focus on my own family, that is also not my complete duty. My duty is all towards myself, towards my family, toward the society, toward the nature, toward the devatas, toward the rishis, towards our nation, toward the whole Prithvi. All round, complete holistic understanding of my duty, and that I do as service of Ishvara, because Ishvara is not only in my home. Ishvara is not restricted only to my home. Ishvara is there in the society also. See, the society in our Sanskrit is called Samaj. Aja means that unborn, Ishvara. Sama, he is present, Sama, in everyone and everything. That's called Samaj. Present equally everywhere. So I have my responsibility towards that Ishvara as Samaj. Then he is present in nature, in the devatas. So all round fulfillment of our responsibility as Ishvara Seva, as worship of God. That is, and while performing this, keeping a equanimity, samatva bhav. Because my right is only in performing my duty. Result is not in my hand. Therefore, that which is not in my hand, I should remain equanimous towards it. It is in the hand of Ishvara. So I should remain equanimous towards it. So that is what is the buddhi. So buddhav sharanam anvichya. Bhagavan says, hey Arjuna, you surrender to this yoga buddhi, which will make your antakarana shuddha, and thereafter you surrender to sankhya buddhi. So yoga and sankhya, 2 steps. So yoga buddhi and sankhya buddhi. So buddhav sharanam anvichya kripana phalahetavaha. Bhagavan says those who have this attachment for the results of action, they are kripanaha. They are misers. They are miserable people. They have lost an opportunity. It is said in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad that those who come into this world and without knowing their own self, they just go, they are kripanaha. See, kanjus we call now. Who are those who have the ability, who have the capacity, but they don't use it? पैसा है लेकिन यूज नहीं करते हैं, उसका सदुपयोग नहीं करते हैं. They are called kripanaha. Yeah. So similarly, we have this opportunity as a human being to recognize our own self. We can use our buddhi to gain that yoga buddhi and sankhya buddhi. But this buddhi, we apply it in worldly things. Apply it for earning money, getting attached, and all those things. So, such people, Bhagavan say, are kripanaha. Kripanaha phalahetavaha. Because they get, because of their attachment to the results of action, they are born again and again and get bound to this samsara. But when we have this yoga buddhi, what will happen? What is the outcome? What is the result of karma yoga? So that Bhagavan now says in the next verse. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukruta dushkrute tasmad yogaya yujjasva yoga karma sukaushalam buddhi yukto jahatiha Tasmad yogaya yujyasva. Bhagavan says buddhi yuktaha, one who is endowed with this buddhi while performing his duties. This is called many times we say the attitude. But this attitude means buddhi, understanding. That's very important. For example, I take a flower and just throw it. It is one action. But if that same flower, if I offer it to Bhagwan with the attitude that I am offering this out of my love for Bhagwan, then that becomes upasana. So the action itself is not upasana. Action itself is not upasana. The bhav is upasana. Sometimes even the flower may not be there in your hand. But if you have that bhava, then your upasana is done. Sometimes we do, like in our mind only we say that, oh Bhagwan, that I am offering you all this, everything, like while doing puja we say I am offering you flowers, I am offering you fruit, I am offering you all the abhushan. But actually there is no abhushan. Then you can pick up the flower. In the name of all abhushan, I offer you this flower. So the attitude is very important. The karma by itself, two people can be doing the same karma, but one can be a karma yogi, another is not. So buddhi yuktaha, this is very important. So endowed with this buddhi, when we get established in this buddhi of samatva, of equanimity, when we become equanimous towards all the results, that means I have got very well established in this buddhi. Then what will happen? My antakaran will become shuddha. And thereafter, I will be able to get established in sankhya buddhi. And when that happens, I will become free of both sukruta, dushkrute. Bhagavan says, jahatiha ubhe sukruta dushkrute. Sukruta means punya. Dushkrita means papa. One becomes free from both punya and papa. So in the beginning, people might be committing papa also and punya also. So first Bhagavan says you drop all the papa karmas. You can perform your punya karma. But then this punya karma also you perform without having any attachment to the result as an offering to Bhagavan. So we are neither attached to the papa nor to the punya. Such a person becomes free of both. So ubhe sukruta dushkrute, person becomes free of both papa as well as punya. See, when we accumulate papa, we go to narak. When we accumulate punya, we go to swarga. The result of papa is dukkha, result of punya is sukha. But both this, while performing as well as when we get the result, the papi, the one who is performing, is still there. He is not eliminated. The sense of doership is still there. But through karma yoga, we have to ultimately eliminate the sense of doership itself. That is the idea. If I say I want punya, then I also retain the sense of doership. Yeah. If I own the karma, then I have to also take the result. Therefore, we drop both the sense of doership as well as enjoyership when we get established in that sankhya buddhi. So Bhagavan says, when one is in this buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukruta dushkriti, one will become free of both punya as well as papa. Such a person is called mukta, free. Then there is no bondage. Then there is nothing which will bind this person to this samsara. Therefore, to gain this state of liberation, what we should do? Start with Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? To have this Yoga Buddhi. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Tasmad Yogaya Yujyasva. Therefore, you get established in this Yoga, in this Karma Yoga. And what is this Yoga? First it was said Samatva. That itself is clarified here further. He says Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. It is the Kushalta in action itself is called Yoga. Efficiency in action is called Yoga. And what is the efficiency? Efficiency is the Samatva Buddhi only and Samarpan Buddhi. That karma, though it is binding, when we have this Ishvara Arpan Buddhi and Samatva Buddhi in it, it doesn't bind us. See, sometimes little children also, they do this craft and all, arts and craft. और वो फेविकॉल लेके बैठ जाते हैं आर्ट्स एंड क्राफ्ट करने के लिए सामने, इधर चिपकाओ उधर चिपकाओ. But after finishing the job, you find that half the material is stuck on their body also. Or a person who is working in the electrical fitting and all, repairing something at home. So one should be very careful. We should not touch those wires, otherwise we are in trouble. So there are this positive wire, negative wire, earthing and all. So one should be careful. Otherwise, if we touch, we will get a shock. Similarly, the action, if we are not careful, the action can bind us. But if we have Samatva Buddhi, the action will not bind. So Ishvara Arpan and Samatva Buddhi will not bind. Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi has written a very beautiful text called Upadesar, in which he gives the essence of this Karma Yoga. Ishvararpitam nechaya kritam chitta shodakam mukti sadhakam. He says when we perform our karma, Ishvararpitam, dedicated it to Ishvara, nechaya kritam, without having any personal kamna in it or attachment to it. When we perform such action, Chitta Shodakam, that action purifies our mind and takes us towards moksha, mukti sadhakam. That is what is said here. So Tasmad Yogaya Yujyasva Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. So what is the kushalta in yoga? That even when we perform this action, it doesn't bind us. That is the speciality of this yoga of samatva. Further, Bhagavan says, Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchantya namayam karmajam buddhi yuktahi. Manishinaha, a jnani, a wise person. What happens to a wise person? Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva. He, having renounced the phala which is born from karma. And what is the phala of karma? Is punarjanma. He drops the phala of punarjanma. How? By endowed with this buddhi. First by yoga buddhi and second by sankhya buddhi. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. And because the whole thing is explained by Bhagavan very logically, and this has been revealed very systematically by Shankaracharya ji. So I am following the guidance of Adi Shankaracharya ji. So everything is systematically, beautifully presented. Many people think that, oh, if we have Bhagavad Gita, if we have 10 different commentaries, if we read, we will be 10 times wiser, like having 10 heads. It doesn't. We know the history of people having 10 heads, what happened. So one should have one understanding, not multiple understanding of one thing. One clear-cut understanding. It's like mathematics. You cannot have 10 different solutions for the same problem. It is one. So similarly, here also there should be clear-cut understanding of it. So karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva. So all the karmajam phalam, the phala born out of karma, is punarjanma only. See how when we die, we are born again. Why are we born again? Because our karmas are not over, our desires are not fulfilled, our vasanas are not completed. We want to enjoy again, but in the bargain we suffer also. We go with the idea of enjoying, but we suffer also. So what happens when we die? We leave this body with a particular impression of our mind, particular impression of our senses, particular impression of our pranas. It's called vagavritti, manovritti, pranavritti. And based on that vritti, we get another birth. It's like when you start from your home, you have certain ideas in your mind कि कहाँ जाना है, कितने देर जाना है, क्या करना है. I hope you have those ideas. And with that idea you go out. So depending on your ideas, you will go to those places and all. See, two people are going out of their house in the same way. उसी दरवाजे से बाहर निकलते हुए आप देखते हैं, बड़ा भाई भी उधर से निकला, बहन भी वहीं से निकली. नहीं? So the exit of both the people are same, but one fellow will go to watch the cricket match, another one will go for some shopping or someone. So what type of attitude with which, what type of conviction or what type of karma with which I die, I am born again. And this goes on and on. And the main crux of this, all this birth, is my intense desire to experience the result of action. I am interested in the result of action. Then I am bound to come again and again. But a person who is endowed with this yoga buddhi, and then later on, when the chitta becomes shuddha, gains that sankhya buddhi, will become free of this karma bandhan. It's like that only. See, when we die, our physical body is left behind, but our sukshma sharir doesn't die. It is holding on to us. So our mind, our intellect, our senses, everything is there. But the sukshma sharir is there because of my desires only to experience different things. But that if that desire itself is dropped, then the sukshma sharir doesn't have any utility. It gets disintegrated. The person is not born again. So janma bandha vinirmuktaha. Person becomes free, the realized master becomes free of janma bandhan. So there is no janma, there is no mrityu also. He remains as that Brahma, remains as everything. It is not confined to one particular body. Like this space. Suppose you built a big hall. What do we do? We confine that space. And that space also thinks that, oh, I am this little hall. I am bound by this. But when the space comes to know that I am not bound by these walls, I am not the little space here, I am that all-pervading space, then it doesn't get, even when the walls are broken, the space remains all-pervading. It is now also all-pervading, but it knows that I am never bound. Similarly, a jnani comes to recognize his own self and is not born again. So, janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gachanti anamayam. Bhagavan says, then where does he go? He attains that immortal state. He attains oneness with Brahma. So, padam gachanti anamayam, that pada, that state which is free from all impurities, which is free from all limitations, he attains that state. Brahma padam. So, padam gachanti anamayam. So, therefore, hey Arjuna, you get established in this karma yoga buddhi and fight this war. So, what are the steps when we get this established in karma yoga buddhi? What exactly happens? What are the steps? So, there are only two steps. One is that Chitta Shuddhi take place. So, what is the meaning of Chitta Shuddhi? And the second step is we become qualified for Sankhya Buddhi. So, we gain abidance in that knowledge of self. So, these two steps are mentioned in these two verses, following two verses. Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vetitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha yada te moha kalilam. When we get established in this samatva buddhi and we perform our actions as worship of Ishvara, then what happens? Slowly and steadily our buddhi start becoming more and more pure. What do we mean by pure? Bhagavan says, moha kalilam buddhihi vetitarishyati. The buddhi transcends all confusion. Moha, confusion. What is confusion? There is a confusion has taken place regarding myself and this body, mind, intellect. These are my equipments. I have identified with this equipment and I start considering this equipment as myself. Identification has happened. But when I gain that proper balance, then I will understand these things very clearly. दोनों का भेद अच्छी तरह से पता चल जाता है कि I am different and this body, mind, intellect is different. That becomes very clear when my buddhi becomes clear. See, there are certain, we listen to music. There are so many different instruments are there playing simultaneously. Person is singing, and then the tabla is there, and the tanpura is there. And all this sound gets mixed up. But if you focus your attention properly, you can hear them separately also. You can just separately hear the tabla. You can separately hear the tanpura. You can separately hear the singer singing. Because they are all separate, but they are mixed together. Similarly, the body, our mind, intellect, and myself are two different entities. They are separate, but now they have mixed together. And I don't understand this. This not understanding them as separate is called avivek. Avivek. So when my buddhi becomes more and more clear, I will be able to do this vivek between this body, mind and myself. थोड़ा हैवी हो जाता है. Let us try to understand. Just as I have given example also of that mobile phone, we have the mobile that equipment is there, and inside we have the chip, and we have the battery. But the mobile, the chip, the battery is different from me, the one who is using the mobile. I am the user. So from I am different and that mobile is different. It's very clear to me. I am using it. And at times I can keep it down. I can switch it off. I can keep it down. I can keep it on silence. All sorts of things I can do. Similarly, this body and my mind is like mobile only. I, the self, am the user of it. I am not the body, I am not the mind. I am different from it. It's very clear. And this separation happens automatically, naturally, when we go into deep sleep state. I get separated from my body, mind, everything. But when I wake up, again I am attached to the body, mind. This separation, even though it is told to us, even though we think about it, we don't understand it deeply if our mind and intellect is not pure. समझ में नहीं आता है. People will say बहुत difficult है, और कुछ बताओ. समझ में नहीं आती बात. But as we follow the path of karma yoga, our attention stop going into the future, stop going into the past. We start becoming more and more coming in the present moment. Mind becomes steady, and with this steady mind intellect, it becomes clear for us to understand that this is different. This called the vivek happens between who am I and what I am not. So this moha which was there, confusion which was there because of this intermixture of this I and my equipment, that goes away. So that is called moha kalilam buddhi vyatitarishyati. Bhagavan says, when we follow this path of karma yoga, your buddhi will transcend this confusion. Just by following this karma yoga, you will start understanding yourself as different from this body, mind, intellect and all. ऐसे स्पष्ट, जैसे I understand very clearly that I am different from my dress. I might be wearing it, but still I know that I am different from the dress. Similarly, I will know that I am different from my body. I am different from my buddhi. I am different from my senses. So this vivek happens between the Atma and that which is seen by this, the Antaratma and that which is seen, my equipments. When this vivek happens, person gains vairagya. Vivek gives rise to vairagya. विवेक से वैराग्य होता है. वैराग्य means what? Vairagya means I no longer have attachment to this body, mind, intellect, and I no longer have attachment to anything related to this body, mind, intellect, and I have no attachment to the karma done with this body, and I have no attachment to the result which is gained through this karma. So there is no attachment whatsoever, because I deeply understand कि मैं अलग हूँ, ये सब चीज़ अलग है. And all action I do in order to gain joy, but I understand that I myself am of the nature of joy. So यहाँ वहाँ जाने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. I myself am of the nature of bliss. Why should I go towards these objects for bliss? Why should I go towards the object for peace? So this deep understanding happens not theoretically, not by reading books and all, but actually we come to understand it. कि ये अलग स्पष्ट हो जाता है. The Shastra, they say, like a fruit kept in your palm. It's clear that yes, it is there. So this also becomes clear. So yada te moha kalilam buddhi vyatitarishyati, then what happens when this vivek happens, confusion goes away, then what happens? Tada gantasi nirvedam. Nirvedam means vairagya. Then one gains this vairagya. Vairagya, this word, many people get frightened. They feel that vairagya means badi jata वगैरह धारण करके we have to go to the Himalayas. वैसा नहीं है. Vairagya happens is a result of vivek. When I know this is different, I am different. See, for example, you are interested to, let us say, eat apple. And then in front of you, there is a nice, wonderful apple is there. So you pick up that apple and take a bite. And when you bite, you come to know that it is made up of wax. Artificial apple. So what do? You continue eating? No. Normally no. So what you will do? You keep it there. किसी के घर पे गए थे, एप्पल दिखाई दिया खाने, try to polish it and so when you look at that apple, you will never have the desire to eat it. Why? Because you know that it is not the real apple. Similarly, when we have this vivek, we will not have the desire to seek happiness in the world outside, because we will know that I am of the nature of happiness. This is called clear understanding. When this understanding is not clear, then I seek outside. See, when you are in deep sleep state, you experience great happiness. वो कहाँ से आ गया? न शरीर था वहाँ पर, न मन था, न जगत था, but I experience great peace and happiness. It is my very nature. It didn't come from outside. It is I myself. But when I wake up, I forget it. I don't remember it, or I don't understand it, and I seek that peace and happiness elsewhere. So when that vivek happens, when the Chitta Shuddhi takes place, this vivek happens. Chitta Shuddhi, Antakaran Shuddhi hota hai, then the buddhi can think very clearly. In Bhaja Govindam, Bhagavan says, what does he say? Ki satsangatve nitsangatvam, nitsangatve nirmohatvam, निर्मोहत्वे निश्चल तत्वम, निश्चल तत्वे जीवन मुक्ति ही. कि जब हम सत्संग करते हैं, व्हाट इज द गेन ऑफ सत्संग? सत्संगत्वे निस्संगत्वम, वैराग्य होता है. वैराग्य होता है, देन व्हाट हैप, ऑल द मोह गोज अवे. वन अंडरस्टैंड द तत्व क्लियरली, एंड व्हेन वी अंडरस्टैंड द तत्व, द रियलिटी, वी बिकम फ्री. सो दिस वैराग्य happens. तदा गंथास्य निर्वेदम श्रोतस्य श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च. Vairagya from what? Shrotavya, that which we have heard. What you call that? That which one has heard, either from people, from the scriptures, all that one gains total vairagya from everything. Shrotavya, that which is fit to be heard, and all that we have heard means the scriptures talk about phala, कि ऐसा स्वर्ग मिलेगा, ब्रह्मलोक मिल जाएगा, ये मिलेगा, वो मिलेगा, ये कर्म करो. हाँ. Or in the world we hear people talking about various types of, we will go there, we will have a party, we will picnic, this, that, future. So many desires are there and desirable objects are there, which we have heard or which are possible that we will hear about them in future. Towards all of them, one gains vairagya. Ki bas, I don't want anything. कुछ नहीं चाहिए. In Ramayana, Tulsidas ji says, a bhakta who doesn't want anything, he gains Bhagwan. Jai जाहि न चाहिए कबहु कछु. One who doesn't want anything anytime, he attains God. But if we want something and somewhere, then we attain that and we lose God. भगवान चाहिए तो सबका त्याग करना पड़ता है. सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य मामेकम शरणम व्रज. We cannot have भगवान in one hand and other things on the other. वैसा नहीं हो सकता है. सो तदा गंता से निर्वेदम श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च. द रिजल्ट ऑफ following the path of karma yoga is vairagya. Vivek first happens and then vairagya. All moha disappears. Things becomes clear. That is the first step. Then what is the second step? In the next verse Bhagavan says, Shruti vipratipannate yada thasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhi tada yogam avapsyasi. Shruti vipratipan. Bhagavan says, once this vivek happens, once we gain that vairagya, then the person will start understanding the self more and more, will study the scriptures. We will also develop jnana, a thirst to know our own self. See, this jnana happens when our chitta becomes shuddha. So we come to know that this is I and this is what I am not. But what is my real nature is still not understood. Though I experience myself every day, separate from my body, mind, etc. in the deep sleep state, still I don't understand who am I. I know that I alone was there. Even now I am there. But who exactly am I? That cannot be known by ourselves. However much we meditate, however much we try to dive deep and all those things, we will not know. That can be known only through Shruti, only through Praman. The scriptures tell us that you are that Brahma. That you who is separate from this body, mind, intellect, that you is Brahma. So through Karma Yoga, through Chitta Shuddhi, the separation happens, and then that person is told that you are that Brahma. नहीं तो क्या होता है? If that separation has not happened, then we will consider the body itself as Brahma, or we consider the ego as Brahma. That famous statement is there in the Upanishad, Tattvamasi, you are that Brahma. But that understanding of you is different for different people. Therefore, some people get totally surprised and shocked also when they are told that you are Brahma. How can I be Brahma? Because I now identify myself with the body. So body is not that Brahma, because Brahma is that which is the source of this entire creation. My body has not created this world. My body is part of the world. It has not created the world. Then when I understand little more deeply, I might take the ahankar as Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi, I think ahankar is Brahma. Main, Sharma ji, am Brahma. So I, that ahankar is the sense of I which is related to the body, mind, intellect, senses. It is not the pure self. It is related to this equipment. So that I is also not Brahma. Then what is Brahma? ये शरीर, मन, बुद्धि, इंद्रिया सबसे अलग वो जो तत्व है जिसका हमें अनुभव होता है सुषुप्ति में, that tattva is Brahma. That Bhagavan calls it Kshetrajna in the 13th chapter. That he called here as Dehi. That Dehi is Brahma. So that we have to understand with the help of the scriptures. So after the Chitta becomes Shuddha, after we gain Vairagya, we will develop Jnana. Jnana means thirst to know. Like we have in Kathopanishad Nachiketa, a young boy, 8 years old or so, but he had this Jnana. He wanted to know what is this self. And he approached Yamrajji. Similarly, when we have this purity, we will have Jnana. Who am I? What is my real nature? And this I will seek with the help of a teacher through the scriptures. If I don't take the help of the teacher and try to study the scriptures by myself, what will happen? Bhagavan says, Shruti vipratipanna. Panna? अच्छा, गर्मियों में पीते अरे बाबा, not that. Shruti vipratipanna. Means, Shruti means all that we have heard from the scriptures or what we have read, it creates so much of confusion in our head. What type of confusion? Shankaracharya ji writes, Aneka sadhya sadhana sambandha prakashana shrutivihi. We hear about Aneka sadhan, variety of sadhanas, and variety of sadhya, variety of goals. And like if we read something, we might understand, oh, that should be our goal, this should be our goal. And so many different types of sadhanas, person gets confused. By ourselves, when we try to understand and study the scriptures, we get confused. We will not know what we should do. Many people have that idea, oh, I should meditate. But how should I meditate? Then everywhere they will find new ideas and all. They try it out. Then somewhere they will hear, oh, japa is very important. So what japa we should do? Then this will say one mantra, that other one will say another mantra. And we get confused. Then upasana. Oh, what upasana? One will say this devta ki upasana. Okay, no, dusre devta ki upasana. Then get confused. Then vrata, we decide, okay, let me do some vrata. Then hazar variety ke vrata. It's like a person going to a supermarket, hazar variety of things are there. You get confused. See, if in India, if you go to a restaurant ordinary and ask for tea or chai, he brings it. But if you go to some high funda places, chai, what chai you want? Black tea or this? No, okay, you put some milk. What milk? 1%, 2%, with cream, without cream, this, that. With sugar, without sugar, with this, with that. Finally you say, please, छोड़ दो. नहीं चाहिए मेरे को चाय. श्रुति विप्रतिपन्ना हो जाता है. घर आके पन्ना पी लेते हैं. So we have our Vedas are there. उसमें कर्म कांडा है, उपासना है, ज्ञान कांडा है, उपनिषद से, कितने सारे उपनिषद से. Then we have all Smriti Granthas are there. Then we have so many darshanas are there. Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, and all sorts of things are there. Then they have their own sadhana paddhati. Then we have in modern times, we have so many other religions are there. Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, Christianity, Baha'i, this, that, so many things are there. And everyone says one thing, another thing. So after listening to all this, if at all we listen and all, there is a guarantee that a person will get confused. That's called Shruti Vipratipanna. Right? And this, if we want to remove this confusion, the only thing is we have to understand the truth with the help of proper praman. Praman से समझना चाहिए. So we have already understood in the previous yajna also I had spoke about why Vedas are considered as Praman. So in the Vedas we have the Upanishad which talks about our own self. They are the Praman. So with the help of them we will come to know the nature of our own self. And taking the guidance of the Upanishad, we have to meditate on that self, gain that understanding of the self and retain that understanding, make that understanding more and more firm. That's called Jnana and Jnana Nishtha. First we have to gain Jnana and gain Nishtha in that Jnana. So Shruti Vipratipannate yada thasyati nischala, when our buddhi, which is confused with all this variety of Shruti which we have heard, when it becomes steady, when the understanding becomes steady and one, single pointed understanding of the truth, not vagueness, not this way also it is there, that way also, no. Not vagueness, it should be clear-cut understanding of the truth. See, just like our computer, our email, let us say. Our email address, all the words, all the letters, all of them are important. Even the dot and the dash and the this, everything is important. If you fail to even put one dot, it will get bounced or it will reach someone who is dotless. Suddenly he will get this. Bua ji aa rahe hai. He will not know why this, from where this email has come and who is this Bua ji who is coming. So every dot and every dash is important because it's a clear-cut system. Similarly, the self, what it is clear-cut, is mentioned in our scriptures. So that we have to understand. Unfortunately, there are variety of things which are not, they are misunderstanding about the self. As I said, in a circle, lot of millions of points are there, but the center is only one. Similarly, the truth is only one, but untruth are many. So in the modern times, with so many literatures and so many different types of religions and so many different types of variety of philosophies and all, the going away from the central points are many, but the central point is only one. So that is very important for us to gain abidance in ourselves. That first clarity should be there with the buddhi. Then we can gain this abidance. So Shruti Vipratipannate yada thasyate nischala, when our buddhi becomes nischal, free from all wavering, it has understood what is the self, then what happens? Samadhavachala buddhihi. Then that buddhi gains abidance in samadhi. Yeah, the meaning of samadhi means our own self. Atma itself is called samadhi. Samadhiyate chittam asmin iti samadhihi atma tasmin atmani iti etat. Like that Shankaracharya ji says, कि this samadhi, that is atma, the buddhi gains abidance in that atma. With the buddhi I understand who am I, and I abide in myself. See, for example, we have our face. All of you have your face, and we take it wherever we go. But we cannot see our face. We can only see our reflection of our face, or we can see a photograph of our face, but we cannot, with our eyes, we cannot see our face. Do you agree? Very good. Thank you. Because this eye is not detachable कि बाहर निकाल के देखो बाबा कैसा है, ठीक है, वैसा भी नहीं कर सकते. But even though we have not seen our face, we know we have a face. Now only with the help of some people might not know. They might be looking, अरे सबको face है, मेरे को ही नहीं है, मैंने कभी देखा नहीं मेरा. In the good old days when mirrors were not there, I don't know how people used to manage. Every time they have to see others' face only. मैं कैसा दिखता हूँ कुछ पता नहीं है. Only I can touch and all, but I cannot have the idea. The only way I can see is through a mirror, a reflection. So, but that reflecting surface should be clean. So, very clean reflecting surface, when I look, then I can see my face. But when I want to be my face, or I want to be with my face, then first only I see, and then even without the help of the mirror, I can just be with my face. I am not in the mirror. I am not, but to see myself, I need a clean mirror. Buddhi is like a mirror. Shuddha buddhi is like a clean mirror. With the help of clean Shuddha buddhi, I can see, with the help of the scriptures also, I can see my face, that I am this Atma, which is Brahma. So once having understood, I have to drop that buddhi and remain as my own self. That is called the Jnana Nishtha. That is what is abiding in the knowledge of my own self. Abiding in the understanding of my own self, abiding as myself. This is the Jnana Nishtha. So Bhagavan says, ki samadhavachala buddhi. When buddhi becomes clear, then this Jnana Nishtha can happen. So samadhavachala buddhi tada yogam avapsyasi. This itself, Bhagavan calls it yoga, the state of enlightenment, wherein our buddhi is established in one's own self. Then even when the buddhi is active, the buddhi knows. Through the buddhi I know who am I. So such a realized person continues to see the world. The world doesn't disappear. Yet samadhi doesn't mean he closes his eyes and goes into some other world altogether. Later on, Arjuna will ask Bhagavan, ki how does this person who is in samadhi live? How does he interact? So this samadhi is not yoga samadhi as we understand. Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Yoga Sutra में जो समाधि है, वो नहीं है ये समाधि. This is when the buddhi has understood, through the buddhi I have understood my own nature, myself, and I abide in myself. So once that understanding has happened, then even when the buddhi functions, the senses function, my understanding retains. It is not changed. So I look at the whole world in a different way altogether. To give example, I have given the example of the sun rising and setting. Those who don't know, they feel the sun itself rises and sets. But those who know, they know the earth is the one which is moving, revolving, rotating. But even when I know this, I continue seeing the sun rise and set, but deeply I know that that is not what is true. Similarly, the realized master continues to see the world, but knows that I am that Brahma. So this is called the state of enlightenment. So samadhavachala buddhihi tada yogam avapsyasi. A state of enlightenment, and such a person is called enlightened person. He has established himself in samadhi, in that self. His buddhi has become his buddhi is firmly abiding in his own self. Arjuna calls such a person, he names him as Stita Prajna. Prajna means buddhi. Stita means steady. One whose prajna has become steady. Stita Prajna. So Stita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava. So thus Bhagavan concludes this portion here. The twofold knowledge he has given, knowledge of the self and karma yoga. both he calls buddhi only. So knowledge of self he calls Sankhya Buddhi, and Karma Yoga he calls Yoga Buddhi. So Sankhya Buddhi is to know myself as that unborn, indestructible self. And Yoga Buddhi is Samatva Buddhi, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Kartavya Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi, all put together. Through this Yoga Buddhi, our Chitta Shuddhi happens, and when Chitta Shuddhi takes place, Vairagya will happen, all Moha will go away, Vivek will happen clearly. Once that happens, we will gain Jnana. Through Jnana, we study the scriptures, but in the beginning, lot of confusion will be there about the scriptures also. But as the confusion goes away, as our understanding becomes steady about who am I, then we should gain abidance in myself. So that final abidance in the self is when one happens, then that is the state of enlightenment. So such an enlightened person is called Sthita Prajna. So what are the characteristics of a Sthita Prajna person? How does he live in this world? What is his experience? How does he interact, he or she? How does he interact with the world? That is Arjuna's question. And this is the most famous and most beautiful portion of Bhagavad Gita. I have to advertise also for next. So it's a very beautiful portion. So we will study it in our next session. So we'll see Arjuna asks a question, and then Bhagavan describes this Sthita Prajna in the most beautiful way. So we will study that, and we'll begin the third chapter. Okay, we'll conclude with a prayer. Just sit quietly for a minute. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.